Welcome to the Friday Night Campfire Stories. My name is Rob and I will be your host for this video. If you're new here, I'm a short story writer, and every single Friday we cover one chapter from one of those stories. However, on Mondays we find ways to keep our weeks creepy. Step into the newest part of the campfire universe. Join me as we delve deep into the dark corners of history, uncovering haunted halls and spectral locations that still echo through time. From whispered folklore to real-life mysteries, these are the stories that will grip your imagination and challenge what you believe. So gather close, keep the fire burning, and prepare to unearth stories that refuse to stay buried. Welcome to Echoes of the Past. Abandoned, silent, soaked in tragedy. The Tennessee State Prison in Nashville isn't just a relic of history. It's a fortress of pain, darkness, and perhaps the lingering spirits of those who died within its walls. Let's take a step back in time and explore what remains of one of Tennessee's most infamous prisons. But beware, some say that not all souls trapped here have found their peace. Built in 1989 to replace Tennessee's original overcrowded penitentiary, the fortress was intended to house 800 inmates, but on opening day, over 1,400 prisoners filled its cells. From the very beginning, Tennessee State Prison was a place of suffering. Prisoners were forced into grueling 16-hour workdays, laboring in workshops, factories, even on the prison's own farmland. In exchange for their lives of endless toil, they were given cramped cells, barely enough food, and silence. Always the silence. The prison adopted rules from the Auburn Correctional Facility in Auburn, New York. They adopted the strict silence rule, where their heads were to stay down and the mouths shut at all times. Disobeying the rule would result in punishment, most of the time meaning solitary confinement, another aspect taken from its sister prison that had not been implemented in a lot of prisons yet. Over the years, some of Tennessee's most dangerous criminals, including James Earl Ray, the man who assassinated Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., called this prison home. However, not all those in prison here were hardened criminals. Some were just unfortunate souls caught in a system that cared little for their survival. For nearly a century, Tennessee State Prison operated under brutal conditions. Over 100 state-ordered executions took place here, many by the electric chair. And it wasn't just those sentenced to death who lost their lives. Disease ran rampant through the filthy cells, and malnutrition took its toll. For some prisoners, the misery became too much, and they took their own lives, rather than continue their endless days of isolation and despair. The prison closed its doors in 1992, deemed too inhumane for even the worst of criminals. But those who dared to enter the abandoned halls since its closure claim the darkness never left. There have been many music videos and movies shot at the fortress-looking prison, including Walk the Line and The Green Mile. Ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike have reported unexplained phenomena within the prison walls. They speak of shadowy figures that drift through the corridors, vanishing into thin air. Disembodied voices whisper from the cells, and chilling screams echo throughout the empty cell blocks. Screams of those who may still be trapped here, reliving their worst days over and over and over. One of the most infamous spirits said to haunt the prison is that of a faceless figure dressed in prison garb, who silently stares at visitors before dissolving into darkness. Some speculate this is an apparition, could be a former guard doomed to wander the halls which he once ruled. Others believe he is one of the inmates who perished here, perhaps one who was wrongfully convicted. Over the years, countless people have dared to explore the prison's crumbling walls. Some describe the eerie feeling of being watched, even when they're alone. One visitor recounted hearing a cell door slam behind him, though he was certain there was no one else in the building. Another claims he saw a handprint appear on a dusty cell wall, fresh and unmistakable, only for it to disappear seconds later. And the persistent sound of footsteps echoing down the hall, heavy, deliberate, and closing in on the living, as if something or someone refuses to let go. Now it's time to uncover the possible spirits that may be haunting this prison still. Now, last week I was unable to uncover many new spirits for the horse in Baltimore. However, this week proved even more trying. I was unable to find really many names. There's no record of prisoners dying, at least none that were filed by name. We all know there were, of course, murders, suicides, and other deaths in the building, just none that were public record, at least as far as I could find. However, I do have a few theories on who might be haunting this prison. First theory could be James Earl Ray. James Earl Ray was the most notable criminal who was in prison here. Ray is the man most known for assassinating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He is somewhat of an escape artist, though. He was born in Alton, Illinois. His family had quite some baggage that they carried. Ray didn't have the best role model either. His father, George, nicknamed the Great Dane, wrote a bad check in Illinois and fled to Missouri, where he changed the family's name to Rays to avoid trouble with the law. This kick-started James Earl Ray's criminal life. He committed a robbery in California in 1949, robbery of a taxi driver in Illinois in 1952, mail fraud in 1955 in Missouri, and finally robbing a Kroger in St. Louis in 1959. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison but escaped the Missouri State Penitentiary by hiding in a truck that was transporting bread from the prison's bakery. He lived on the run for quite some time, moving from Mexico to LA and all around the United States without being caught. Then, whatever went through his mind, he decided to assassinate MLK. He picked up weapons from the Aero Marine Supply Center and told them that he was going on a hunting trip. He bought a hotel room across the street from where he would be delivering a speech, and then he killed MLK at the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. Of course, Ray fled without any issues. He left for Canada, he got a fake passport, and traveled to Europe. It took them so long, but finally the UK finally noticed the passports and sent him back to the state of Tennessee, where he admitted to the murders and he was sentenced to 99 years in prison. As I stated earlier, he escaped prison yet again, but he was captured much quicker this time. James Earl Ray died in 1998 in Nashville, however, did not die in the prison. He was moved out of the prison prior to it shutting down. It's hard to guess that he would be one of the spirits here, but maybe, just maybe, his spirit is still trapped there continuing his sentence for eternity. Then there's the theory of death row inmates. There were plenty of uses of Old Sparky and many criminals. I want to say all deserving, but we may not ever really know. I believe it is safe to say that these screams could definitely be from the inmates, possibly reliving their final moments, only to realize that those sparks would just be the start of their sentence, not the end. The accounts of people claiming to hear screams would make sense. The amount of times the electric chair was used, it is possible that residual energy can be heard more nights than not. The final theory of who I have that may be haunting this prison is, well, unfortunately, children. Now you may be asking, why would children spirits be in this prison? It's because the state actually put them there. Children were tried as an adult and housed with the other evil inmates. I can only imagine what these children went through. We all hear the horror stories of grown men living in these prisons and what some of them had to go through. Now just imagine an actual child who is unable to defend himself against these grown men, being locked up in this prison at such a young age, with such a strong feeling that some of these kids may have met their end at the hands of some of these prisoners, can only make me believe that the spirits may be walking these decaying halls still. It's the only life that they've ever known. Today, the Tennessee State Prison stands as a rotting reminder of a grim past. In 2020, the prison was hit by an EF3 tornado, and the building was put in an even worse state than it already was. The decaying walls and asbestos ruined the building. Its walls are crumbling, overtaken by nature, but the stories of suffering and horror remain. It has been said that a paranormal group is attempting to buy the building and make it safe again, but it remains to be unseen if it will be sold. The prison is a place where the echoes of pain and despair have sunk into the very bones of the building. Maybe that's why so many claim it's haunted. The prison may be empty, but perhaps it's truly never at peace. So if you find yourself near the relic of this darkness, listen carefully. You might just hear the whispers of the past reaching out to you, a chilling reminder that some stories never really end. That is going to do it for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the research that I did on the Tennessee State Prison. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please click that like button, hit that subscribe button. We make videos 3 times a week. Every single Monday, we do another episode of Echoes of the Past, which is what we did today. Every Wednesday, we do a new episode of Far From Fiction, which is my true crime series that I do every single Wednesday. And then Friday, of course, is the namesake of the channel, the Friday Night Campfire Stories, where we experience one chapter from one of my short stories every single Friday. This Friday, we will be wrapping up my second short story that I've done on this channel called Sliced. If you haven't checked out the first 3 chapters, I suggest that you do it and then come back on Friday where we'll finish off the story. I think you guys would really enjoy it. Also, if you guys are interested, my first collection of short stories called Whisper in the Shadows is available on Amazon right now. It's in the top of the description. It has the first 6 stories that I've written. And yeah, so if you have any interest in that, you're an avid reader, or you're just looking to help out a small author, definitely it would mean a lot to me if you guys would check it out. Like I said, the link is in the description below. The first 6 stories are Sliced, Survive, Confinement, Hexenshire, Apparition, and Donum. All of which we will cover here on the channel. The Hexenshire already did, and Slice we finish up this week. The other 4 we'll get to over the next few months. But again, if you have any interest in jumping ahead or reading more into the stories, then definitely check out the Amazon link in the description. So that will do it for today. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said, if you guys did, please click that like button. It will mean a lot. Hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time. As always, thank you for sharing a little bit of your day here with me.